CEO of Salesforce. Before I let you do your thing, I think it's an interesting story because I know there's a lot of CEOs and entrepreneurs in the room coming to their first Always On event. Well, Marc graced his presence with Marc begged me back in 2003 to come to our first event. Yeah. We invited him. He was a shooting star in 2003.
You wouldn't even let me in.
Yeah, I let him in. And he showed up, and he had his no software button.
Yeah.
Do you still wear them?
Yes.
Oh, you do? But
of course.
You are the guy that...
They're on the screen now.
You are the guy that made this industry. So
Thank you.
We're so pleased to have you back. But I want you to tell a story, and I'm being random here, but you spoke...
As usual.
You spoke...
Obama.
Okay, so...
I got your George Bush belt buckle on and everything.
Right.
Yeah, whoa! Oh, God, tell me.
Hey, we all want to make a living. I don't know about you. If you want to have your taxes raised, go right ahead. Even yours, my friend. So anyways, you spoke at Stanford, if I recall. Well, let's just ask you, did anything happen?
Well, I think that, the most exciting thing that happened at that event, and I'll never forget it, is that when I think it was maybe one of your first events, right, for Always On, right? It was the post-red herring generation.
Yes.
And Larry and Sergey were there from Google, and they had just done their presentation, and they were like waiting around. And we did our Salesforce presentation, and then we did one of our slides, which we did not do today, which is our 111 slide, which is that really great entrepreneurs will take 1% of their equity, 1% of their profit, and 1% of their time, and put it into a 501c3 public charity, so as their company grows, they can give back to the community in a symmetrical way. And we have a URL that teaches people how to do that, sharethemodel.org.
That's correct.
And the next day, Larry and Sergey called me, and they said they were going to go ahead and do that program, and they did. As you know, they wrote about that in their S1, and they created a Google Foundation, which is a $1 billion foundation. And I hope that for all of these great entrepreneurs here, too, that they also look to this 111 model to create a model to be able to give back in a generous way to the community, because the time to do it is now when you're an entrepreneur, not much later when you're public. So
and if you can all recall, Google was a private company then. Still.
Yes, that's right, 2003.
For a couple of years after.
No, they were public in 2004 when we were.
Right, and so you had two private company entrepreneurs thinking about the big picture, and now obviously...
Got to think about the big picture.
Well, with that,
all right, thank you.
I appreciate being here.
You're welcome to kiss my belt book anytime. Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you very much for having me here. I really appreciate it. And we just want to kind of orient you to kind of how we're thinking about the current generation of cloud computing and on-demand, software as a service. And how many people here are actually work for some kind of on-demand or cloud computing company? Raise your hand. All right, very good. How many people here are actually end-user customers or customers of cloud computing? All right. How many people here use Salesforce.com? Raise your hands. All right. And how many people here are prospects? Okay. Salesforce is a publicly traded company, as Tony said. It's traded on the stock ticker symbol CRM and the New York Stock Exchange. And so this is our safe harbor statement. We'll give you a chance to read it. And if you haven't seen it before, you can also find it on our website. One of the great things that's exciting about our industry, and what keeps me going every day and makes it more exciting, is that it's constantly changing. That the only constant is change in our industry, and that you have to constantly be reinventing yourself. That's true as an entrepreneur, but that's especially true as great technology companies. So we're here at Hewlett-Packard today. Is a great example of a company that has been able to survive over a long period of time because they're constantly making these changes. And in our industry, it is all about change. It's about transformation. It is about growth and evolution. And we've really seen our industry evolve. And you kind of look at kind of the history over the last, 40 or 50 years. We came out of mainframe computing, really pioneered by companies like IBM. and into mini computers, which were pioneered by companies like HP, but also like Data General and DEC and others, and then into client server computing that was pioneered by great companies like Microsoft and Oracle, and into desktop internet computing, which was pioneered by great companies like Amazon and Yahoo and even Google. And we're now really opening a door and walking into a new era of computing, a new generation of computing, and something really that everybody needs to be paying attention to. For the new companies that are starting today, I'm sure this is already on your mind, but for the companies that are kind of, more than a few years old and maybe we're designing for the last set of principles, this is a big wake-up call, because a lot of companies and a lot of executives are getting left behind, which is what always happens in one of these shifts. And we all need to pay attention to this, because this is the biggest, most exciting shift, and the most value will be created for employees, for shareholders, for customers than ever before. It's also incredibly important to point out that as we move from cycle to cycle, that 10 times the number of users per cycle are added. So each shift is an order of magnitude greater than the previous shift. You can find this in terms of social networking. This is a Morgan Stanley graph that social networking passed email. How many people here already have one social networking account on Facebook? How many people have an account also on Twitter, on other accounts? How many people here have more than 2 email accounts? Raise your hand. Just to give you a perspective, social networking users passing email users already. But it's not just about social networking. There's a broad change in internet usage. That is, what we have seen on the internet and how people have been using the internet is fundamentally changing. And a lot of those kind of what I would call Cloud One websites, or those early websites, kind of dropping away, brands changing, but user behavior is fundamentally changing. You can see it here in this demographic information about how people are using the internet, using social networking more, soon to have 500 million users on Facebook, using video more, again, YouTube, and then also search as 3 dominant categories of usage emerging. And it's not just what people are doing on the internet, but it's how they're doing it also. That is, while they were using mostly maybe their PCs and their Macs or whatever, now they're using mobile devices and smartphones. They're using iPhones. They're using their BlackBerries. They're using their iPads. How many people here have one phone with them that can handle apps? Raise your hand. How many people have 2 phones with them that can handle apps? Like me. All right. How many people have an iPad with them? All right. Pretty good market share only for 1 week. So we really think that what this means is, and what we all have to be paying attention to, is a fundamental shift in cloud computing. And as a company that pioneers cloud computing, we kind of look at this now as an evolution from Cloud One. And a lot of companies and a lot of executives and a lot of people missed Cloud One completely. They lost the billions of dollars of market creation and opportunities. And now we are moving into Cloud 2. So we're leaving Cloud 1 behind, and we're moving to Cloud 2. Cloud 1 dominated by companies like Amazon, by Google, by eBay, by Yahoo, and a lot of those Cloud 1 companies kind of waffling back into irrelevance. But Cloud 2 is very, very exciting, and we see this new generation of companies like Facebook and Twitter, 2 very hot private companies, but really dominating where people's mind and consciousness is around the internet. We have to be paying attention to this kind of simple shift. Cloud 1, this is directly out of a slide that I gave in around 2005 around multi-tenant shared system, trusted reliability and performance, the democratization, being able to provide enterprise computing for everyone, metadata-driven customization, which means that we're making customization not in the core code, but at the metadata level, mashups, multiple systems working together, web-based integration, development as a service, so you can build as you build right off of the net, something that we've pioneered with our Force.com capability, and we even came up with a term for it called Platform as a Service, multi-tenant development platform, applications exchanges. We were one of the very first to have an application exchange, and multi-device delivery. Now, this is